In this video, we're gonna take a detailed look at the entire story of Puss in Boots, covering everything from his own movies to the Shrek films, and we'll go through it all in the order it actually happens in his life. We first saw Puss in Shrek 2, but even though that was his debut in the Shrek series, his personal story actually begins earlier, and you get to see that in the first Puss in Boots movie. That first movie came out a little while after Shrek 2, but it actually tells the beginning of Puss's story. The events that happened before he met Shrek and the gang. Many years before what happens in Shrek 2, Puss grew up in a place called San Ricardo. He was raised in an orphanage there, which means he didn't have parents, but was cared for by a kind woman named Imelda, who acted like his adoptive mother. While he was at the orphanage, he met someone very important, Humpty Dumpty. Humpty became Puss's best friend when they were young. At that time, Puss was just a young cat, but he became a hero in his local town. People admired him and he was well known for being brave and clever. However, things took a dark turn. Humpty Dumpty, who had a secret life as a thief, wanted Puss to live the same life as him, stealing and breaking the law.
But we're partners.
We are brothers. But I am not stealing anymore.
Unfortunately, Humpty tricked Puss and set him up. Because of that betrayal, the story we see in the first Puss in Boots movie actually starts when Puss is running away from the law. He is seen as a fugitive, someone who's trying to clear his name and restore his lost honor after being wrongly blamed for crimes. Then, Puss hears about something important. Two outlaws named Jack and Jill possess magic beans.
The golden goose. A heist like this could set you up for life.
These magic beans are the key to a castle in the sky that's filled with golden treasure. The beans are very valuable, and Puss decides to try and steal them. During one of his attempts to get the beans, Puss crosses paths with Kitty Softpaws. She is clever and sneaky, and she intentionally makes Puss follow her, and it's through this that Puss finds out that the whole heist, the plan to steal the magic beans, is actually being controlled by Humpty Dumpty.
I should have known. I had the magic beans in my grasp.
And you sent this very attractive devil woman to interfere. You are a curse on my life.
Whoa, wait. Hear me out.
This shocks Puss because of what he did to him in the past. He is angry at Humpty and doesn't want anything to do with him. Still, despite his feelings, Puss ends up reluctantly teaming up with both Humpty and Kitty to steal the magic beans. As they work together, they have a lot of fun and enjoy their adventure. They manage to successfully steal golden eggs from a giant goose in the Sky Castle. These golden eggs are valuable treasures. But then everything comes crashing down when Puss learns the truth. Humpty had planned everything all along. He used Puss to do all the hard and risky work for the heist, and his real plan was to get Puss arrested at the end. Humpty's scheme was his way of getting revenge on Puss for what happened years before, when Puss left him behind during a bank robbery. Things look bad for Puss, but in the end, Kitty Softpaws helps him escape from jail. Afterward, Puss confronts Humpty. Eventually, Humpty makes the choice to fix things and make up for all the pain he caused. He even sacrifices himself at the end of the story, showing that he truly wants to redeem himself and save everyone. After all is said and done, Puss is once again seen as a hero by the people, although he's still technically a wanted cat. His honor is restored, and his story continues from there. The next time we see him is in Shrek 2, which takes place after Shrek and Fiona have gotten married. In this part of the story, King Harold, who is feeling a lot of pressure from the fairy godmother, secretly decides to take matters into his own hands to deal with Shrek. So, he goes to the Poison Apple Tavern, a shady less-than-friendly place, and hires Puss, who has by this time become a bounty hunter, to get rid of Shrek. He manages to ambush Shrek and Donkey while they are traveling through the forest. However, instead of carrying out his mission and killing them, Puss ends up making friends with Shrek and Donkey. From that moment forward, Puss changes sides and becomes loyal to Shrek, acting as both his friend and protector. He sticks with Shrek and helps him along throughout the entire film. After Shrek 2, we see him again in Shrek the Third. In this movie, King Harold falls seriously ill and eventually dies. Following the king's death, Shrek, Donkey, and Puss set off on a mission to find the next rightful heir to the throne, Arthur, who is Fiona's cousin. Their goal is to bring Arthur back to far, far away so he can take over as king. Naturally, Puss stays fully committed to this mission, supporting Shrek and Donkey every step of the way. At one point during their journey, something unusual and funny happens. Puss accidentally swaps bodies with Donkey.
At least you don't look like some kind of bloated roadside piñata. You really should think about going on a diet.
Yeah, you should think about getting yourself a pair of pants. I feel all exposed and nasty.
This leads to a series of comical events featuring a cat in a donkey body and a donkey in a cat's body, causing lots of ridiculous moments and misunderstandings. Ultimately, the body swap is reversed, and everything goes back to normal. Shrek then manages to stop Prince Charming's evil plans, and Arthur accepts his role as the new king of Far, Far Away. The next time we see Puss is in Shrek Forever After, which explores an alternate what-if timeline. In this version of the story, Shrek has grown tired of his family life and makes a deal with the tricky Rumpelstiltskin. The deal gives Shrek one day as a real ogre, but it erases the day he was born, creating a completely different reality where Shrek never existed. In this alternate world, Puss has become overweight, retired, and lives comfortably as a pampered pet belonging to Fiona.
Could it be true? Have the years of prim and pampery made me soft?
Don't be silly. Now who's a pretty kitty?
I am.
Despite his new life, Puss still keeps his heroic spirit alive. When Shrek needs help to fix the mess that Rumpelstiltskin's deal has caused, and to restore the original timeline, Puss steps up. His courage and heart play an important role in helping Shrek save the day. The next and last time we see him is in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which takes place after the events of Shrek 4. After everything that happened in that film, Puss goes back to living the life of a legend. He's out there doing big things, living life to the fullest, not really worrying too much about his own safety or what might happen to him. This is mostly because he's a cat with 9 lives, which means he has a lot of chances to mess up or get into trouble and still be fine. But here's the catch: he's already wasted almost all of those 9 lives and is down to just 1 left. Then things get really tense when a creepy, scary red-eyed wolf starts stalking him. This wolf turns out to be death itself, which is pretty chilling. Up until this point, Puss has never been scared of dying. He's always been fearless, even cocky about it.
Relax! I am Puss in Boots! I laugh at death!
But now, facing death directly, and knowing he's on his very last life, Puss begins to feel something new. Fear. Because of this fear and the realization that his time is running out, Puss decides to retire from the dangerous life he's been living. He goes to a cat sanctuary, a quiet place where he can hopefully live out his days without so much risk. It's there that he meets a relentless and optimistic little dog named Perito. Perito is the complete opposite of Puss in many ways. Where Puss is weary and cautious now, Perito is enthusiastic and hopeful. Meanwhile, a group of villains comes into the picture. There's the criminal Goldenlocks and the 3 bears, alongside the greedy Big Jack Horner. They're all chasing after a magical wishing star, which has the power to grant any wish someone wants. When Puss hears about this star, he sees an opportunity. This could be his chance to get back all 9 of his lives and return to the way he used to be, the fearless, confident hero who didn't care about danger and lived boldly without a second thought.
The wishing star, it does exist.
That star has 1 wish to grant.
1 wish.
Think of what that could mean for us.
9 lives.
Yes.
Another interesting piece of the story happens between Shrek 4 and The Last Wish. During that time, Puss and Kitty Softpaws got serious enough in their relationship to talk about getting married. But Puss, still proud and not ready for commitment, gives up at the last minute and bails on the wedding day.
It was a church, the priest, and guests, and Kitty. Everything but me.
Oh, you left her at the altar?
It was wrong, I know. I am ashamed. I just wish I hadn't hurt her so badly. I regret that day.
This creates a very interesting and complicated dynamic between him and Kitty throughout the movie. The 3 of them, Puss, Kitty, and Perito, team up to find the wishing star before the villains do. So, the whole movie is really about Puss reflecting on his life, thinking about the choices he's made, and literally running from death, who won't stop chasing him. But in the end, rather than just wishing for more lives and going back to his old reckless self, Puss realizes something important. He chooses to value the one life he has left, and to live that life fully and carefully. Because of this, death finally leaves him alone and stops tormenting him. Puss also manages to rebuild the trust with Kitty, so things work out between them in the end.
I hate to say it, but should we make a wish?
Kitty, one life spent with you is all that I could wish for.
By the time the movie finishes, Puss is a very different character than the cocky, arrogant hero he was at the start. He's grown, learned to appreciate the value of his life and the people around him. The very last scene shows them stealing a ship and heading to far, far away, which is where we know Shrek and his friends live. This hints that Puss's adventure isn't quite over yet and connects his story back to the original Shrek movies.